Welcome back to the Untouched Artist Showcase Costume Party. I'm your host, T. Martin, and I'm chilling here with.
Jae Skeese, separation, you know what it is.
Come on. So I know you about to perform for a minute, so man, we gonna get it. Let's get it rolling. Let's
Yeah,
get
for
it
sure.
rolling.
Let's do it, bro.
What do you hope for the people when they see you perform?
I just hope, whenever I come out and I do a show, man, this is anywhere I go, I want them to just leave and feel like they were able to take something from what I said and just apply it to their everyday life. You know what I mean? Because I talk a lot about, just everything that I've been through to get to where I am and where I want to get to and the ways that I do it. And, we all trying to achieve something. We all trying to accomplish something. And, I just think, hearing it through the music, because, everybody don't got messages like that. So, that's what I want people to walk away with. Is just something that they could take home and be like, you know what he said last night, it inspired me, or it pushed me to do the thing that I was trying to do, or, I might be at the edge of something that I'm trying to complete. And what I heard tonight, it's gonna push me tomorrow to just go that extra mile. So
I like that.
I
like that. I definitely like that. Okay.
For sure.
Walk us through a creative process. How do you do things on your song, like starting?
Starting. So normally for me, like I always, obviously I'm looking for a beat that talks to me. Depending on what I got on my mind and on my heart at that time. Because, sometimes you might want to make something that's turned. Sometimes you want to make something where you're talking about, or at least for me, where I want to talk about, maybe I'm feeling like I'm being slept on, or maybe I'm feeling underappreciated, or maybe I'm feeling like talking about the grind at that time, or, sometimes I just want to flex. Sometimes I just want to be like, yo, can't nobody rap like me.
No,
You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking for a beat that speaks to that. But then the other part of it is I'm usually waiting on the beat to tell me what to say. Because there'd be times where, like, you'll hear something, you'll hear a beat, and you'll think it's like the song is gonna go in this direction, but then, you start penning up, and it's like, yo, nah, this is what it sounds good on this beat. So that's kind of the direction that I go. I usually start off with a verse, unless, like, for whatever reason, like I'm hearing a hook in my head, but normally I'm starting off with a verse.
Okay, no, I like that. You don't really get that. You don't really get that answer from a lot of artists and rappers.
Yeah,
so I like that.
For sure.
I like that
For
a lot. Okay. What song of yours do you feel represent your artistry the best, and why?
I would say Symmetry. And the reason why is because, just from start to finish, like the verses and everything, they speak to my life. And not only just that, like, if you peep like the actual lyrical content in the song, I'm rhyming. I got the same rhyme scheme throughout the entire, like, both of my verses. You know what I mean? So it's like a real intricate, like I penned it intentionally, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I do 9 times out of 10. You know what I mean? Like I'm always trying to find a way to innovate or, pay homage or just, do something that's different than like what everybody else has done or what everybody else is doing. And you don't see that all the time. Like somebody really taking like one word or a couple syllables and doing that all throughout the verse. So, between that, that's like one thing with my artistry that you can kind of point out. And then also, like I was saying, like the whole song is speaking to my story and like who I am and how I came up and how I got to where I am. So I would say Symmetry for sure, man. And then Conway just brings it home at the end of it. And that was one of the first songs that I did. That song was done before I signed the drum work, but I was in my first session, like recording session with Conway in New York. So, that kind of just, I feel like it kind of defined, and it was on my first album with drum work, so I feel like it kind of just defines everything that I'm about.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Walk us through that when you first got signed. How you felt when that happened?
Man, it felt great. And what I didn't know was like, when you sign, that's when the real work started. I thought I already did the work. But when you sign, that's when it's like, okay, it's go time. Like you got to be in that studio. You got to find ways to stay motivated. It's gonna be times where it's highs and lows in music and in hip hop especially. So you kind of got to just ride the wave and find ways to just again stay motivated. And just thug it out. Like that's what it's been. The last few years.
You gotta stay consistent.
You gotta stay consistent, man. That's the other part for sure. Consistency is key. And man, yeah, it's like when I first got signed. I was just, in my mind, I was just like, man, like, this is what I have been working towards for a long time. With Griselda kind of knocking down the door and, them kind of putting Buffalo on the map as far as hip hop. it was like, okay, if I'm not gonna be the first to do it, hopefully one of these days, because I had been cool with West. I knew who Benny was. I knew Conway from working at the spot that I worked at, in the sneaker store. So it was always like, man, okay, if they gonna do it first, like, hopefully, I know a couple of these guys, and they know I'm talented. So hopefully one of these days, like, if they start their own situation or, whatever the case is, like, they'll reach out. You know what I mean? Because they know I want it bad, and I know what I'm willing to do, and the work I'm willing to put into, take it to the next level for myself and represent for them. So, when I finally did get to reach out from Conway, it was like, damn, like, I had already had it in mind, and it was just like, damn, like, finally, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, it was like, what I learned is that, like, that's when the real work starts.
Right.
Is once you get signed, it's like, now it's time to put in the work. That's not where your story ends. That's really where your story starts.
So, I like that. Okay, I like that a lot. How do you prepare mentally and emotionally for a show?
Mentally, it's like, I just want to know what I'm performing, and that's up to me, obviously. So mentally, it's like getting in that zone, making sure I know my lyrics, making sure that my set list is kind of taking you on a ride, because that's one thing with albums, because I sequence a lot of my own albums too. Okay. You want your albums to, you want it to be, again, highs and lows, because it's like, if the first half of your album or the first quarter of your album is up here, and then the second half is all the way down here, there's no balance. You know what I'm saying? So you got to give people balance. And it's the same thing at a show. Like, it's points in time where you want to come out. You want to come out high energy. You don't want to come out and not set the tone. But then as you move through your set, you want it to be a thing where, you can be, you can show different things that you do. And I like to end my shows on a positive note and on a high note. But throughout my set, you'll see I kind of take people like this. You know what I'm saying? Through some highs and lows. I give you some lyrics. I give you some bops. I give you some energy. It's points in time where, I want you to kind of, sing back to me, or, whatever the case is. Crowd participation. That's a big thing too. So that's like the mental aspect. And then emotionally, it's like, I just want to make sure I'm just level-headed, man. Like, before a show, I don't really want to talk too much to people. I stay off of my phone, because I might see something that make me upset or whatever the case is, bro. And other than that, man, I'm ready to go.
Okay, lock and loaded. Shoot.
That's it. That's it.
Okay. How do you measure success as an artist beyond numbers and fame?
All that matters, honestly, is you. I've been telling myself that a lot lately. Is like, if I'm getting my message across, if I'm talking about what I want to talk about, and I set out to do what it is that I wanted to do, it's kind of up to everybody else, like, to receive the message, or, to peep what I did, or, you know what I mean? But as long as I'm happy with it, that's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? Like, people gonna have their opinions, and you can't please everybody. And that's something that I had to really learn. It's like, when I first started out making music, the thing that kept me going was always when I would rap bars, from back on Andover, man. Like, I used to be on the corner of Andover and Bailey rapping it. Ooh, that was the thing that always kept me going. So as I got older and my style changed a little bit, what I learned is, like, it's not always about making people say, ooh. Sometimes you got to give people something. They might not even get it the first listen, the first couple listens, or whatever the case is. But then they go back and they like, yo, wait a minute. Like, let me run that back. Because he's saying something. I'm just trying to process it, or whatever the case is. So, as I've gotten older, like I said, like, the thing that I feel like now, to me, that makes the biggest difference in when I'm creating, like, am I happy with something? Is like, did I get my point across? And was it clear? Was it concise? Did I do it in a way that was dope to me? Because if I did everything, if I checked all those boxes, I'm happy.
For yourself.
You know what I'm saying?
No, that's a fact. Facts. Okay. How do you think your sound or your message has evolved over time?
Definitely, my thing always was, man, I'm the illest, I'm the dopest. But, like, that's how I started out. Like, I knew I could put words together better than everybody. Because words is how I got started. I started out writing short stories. I wasn't no rapper. I used to be with Dre. Dre got me into it. You know what I'm saying? Dre got me into it. And that was always my thing. Man, can't nobody put the words together like I put them together. And I know the definitions to this word and this word. So when I write this, you know what I mean? But now, because I've been in a position of, living life and going through life and shit happening.
Right.
And then also, being on this path of trying to, or not trying to, but being an artist, and again, the highs and lows of that, I'm speaking to a lot of what I go through, because I want to be relatable more than anything. Because I know that with my favorite artists, they find a way. We may not be going through the same situation, but their situation, I can still find like myself in like in their shoes, because okay, you might not have worked at the sneaker store, you might have been working at the warehouse, but you saw the manager that was on shit, and I did too. And you got a baby mama over here that's tripping. My baby mama don't really trip, but it was a situation where this happened. So it's like it's parallels. It might not be the exact same,
similar,
but it's similar. So now my main thing is just being relatable, man. Being relatable. Like, I could care less about being the best rapper. I'm gonna still talk my shit, but I want people to feel like they know me and they can feel their story and they hear their story in my story. You know what I'm saying?
Dope. No, that's dope. That's dope. Okay. How do you know when a song is finished and ready to be released?
I think it's just the feel, man. It's like it's hearing it from start to finish. Like, I just was playing a record for bro a second ago, and like hearing it, because I haven't heard it in like 2 weeks, and like listening to it now, like the totality of the record, like how the verses sound, how the mix sounds, just everything about it. I think that's like what I look for the most, is like, how does the mix sound? You know what I mean? Can I hear all of the the ad libs? Are they coming through clear? Does the hook sound layered how I want it to sound? And like just all of those little components. You know what I mean? Because every song is different. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might want to start off with a hook. You might want to end with a hook. You might want to cut a verse short here because it's too long, or you might want to add a verse here. So the verse and hook component for me isn't really where it's at. It's really in the mix.
Okay. How would you describe your sound to someone who never heard your music before?
I guess I would say it's like educated music for the street, because like I grew up, the way I grew up, where I grew up at, it's a big New York influence, East Coast influence, but also I speak to topics and speak to things that aren't so much associated with the street, because I'm not no street dude for real. You know what I mean? I'm more so, I speak for the people that grew up in the hood, but they didn't partake in certain things. You know what I'm saying? And people that just want to better themselves, man. Like they chasing after goals, they chasing after dreams, and they starting from pretty much nothing and doing it.
No, that's big ups. So I know you got to perform. We're gonna get you out here. Let the people know what you got coming up.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm working on a new album with Ill Tone. We got a couple albums that we getting ready to drop called The Good Part, Volume 1, Volume 2. I'm working on something with Sledgerin right now. Shout out to Sledgerin down in Pittsburgh. I got some other stuff I'm working on with CG Green. You know what I'm saying? Shout out my boy CG here from the town. And other than that, man, I'm moving and grooving. You know what I'm saying? We just finished up the Ground Level tour a couple months ago. That was my first tour. I did it out of pocket. We hit.
Congrats.
Man, thank you, bro. We hit I think 14 cities between the first and second run. So, coming off of that and coming off of dropping Ground Level, my album last year with Rock Nation, it was a crazy experience. You know what I'm saying? So just trying to find ways that, like, once we get into 2026, to just keep that energy going and keep it pushing.
Okay. Well, man, I appreciate your time, man.
Come on, bro. You already. Appreciate you.
No doubt.